but to thank all of you for finding time to come, for identifying with us, because even myself on Thursday night I couldn't sleep. In my house, I was just so excited with nostalgia. So I am going to meet my colleagues 35 years after. And thank God we are here. Let's make the best use of this opportunity as God blesses us as we continue to interact. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Chief. Thank you so much for the advice. At this point, I will be passing the mic to Igwe himself to give us one or two. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, colleagues. And I want to appreciate all of you. It's a great thing to see us today and looking healthy and strong. And if you don't know what it means to be healthy and strong until you have a challenge. And when I was told to chairman this particular committee, I told them, how can I chairman the committee? I don't move around the way I used to move before. I'm still restrained for some time. And they assured me that Onyapanta assured me he will work, do those ones I will not do. I can do the calls, he do the other ones. And I can assure you he's a very wonderful person to work with. It wasn't an easy job for us to do. Initially, at the time, it was, as you say, we were not going to do it. But I want to thank all of you, all the stakeholders that stick their neck and ensure that we're able to hold this particular all-important program. How I wish we were able to mobilize up to 100 people in attendance. It would have been a wonderful thing. And those of you who were too close to the Babylonians at that time, so I don't know, he couldn't connect one of them. Good. So I want to thank you because we couldn't have handled this matter if you didn't support us financially, the moral aspect of it, all the words of encouragement that were coming up. And so there used to be sometimes only me and only we meet. And we say, okay, whatever decision we take, we bind it on every other committee member. And we take some decisions, and it was binding. And that's why we're here today. So we want everybody to enjoy himself. Let us be open to ourselves. Let us, when masses, Ibokwe, when he wanted to start up his business, I took time to talk to him personally when he shared it in our platform. I told him this one is not a meeting company. You are now going to enter the arena. And there is a different ball game altogether. We took time to talk and talk and talk and talk. I chatted him severally, and I'm sure he took some of because we're on ground, we know some of these details. I've seen a lot of guys who were top there in careers and thereabout. When they come out, it's not the same thing. So those who are on ground normally help them out to tell them this is the way to go. Like Ejo will tell you the kind of things you see outside there. It's not an easy thing. So where you are before, you have a structured life everything is structured. So, but outside there, it's not like that. So I just noticed that there are some people that are bottled up. They are not open. There was one of us who wanted to reach out to at the time. We understand they have some challenge. We send people who are close to the person to open, let us see what we can do for him. But today, he didn't open up. The person didn't open up. So I wonder, someone has a challenge, their colleagues want to find a way of helping you, you didn't want to open up. So how can the person be helped? So these are some of the things we need to look at Nobody is praying to have any challenge. I have some health challenge. My health challenge is not it's not something that terminal or about. It doesn't that restricted my movement. I'm healthy, I'm healthy. Just that I cannot go where I want to go, the way I want to go. So, but I wanted to be here. For about 3 years, I've not gone to my church. I don't joke with things like that. Because I can't walk with that kind of device and enter the place. I didn't like it. So when my people go out every morning, on Sunday, I call it alone with God. And I used to enjoy it. I converted it and began to use it very well. Now, but I must, initially I said I wasn't going to come. No, we had to discuss it, and I said, okay, I'll come on Saturday and stay all through, because of my challenge. But what is life all about? The Igwe you used to know before is no longer the same Igwe, because so many things are changed in the life of Igwe. I believed in this Cassius law of natural selection, survival of the fittest. Those of you who were close to me in those days, you dare not stand on my way, I will march on your head and move on. But at the time, I knew that life is not about that. Because I came out, maybe some of you didn't know my background. And one of the people, I spent 4 years in the university before you people came in. So, and I spent for another 4 years with you people. So I spent 8 years in the university. So I didn't have any interest in working for anybody, and I never worked for anybody. So I didn't have any interest. I've never worked for anybody in my life. So I struggled in my own life. But one thing is very clear. I was already high flying the moment I came out. But sometimes we may be too fast for God. And God may like to puncture that speed. And what happened to this young man? 2 containers. The agent was clearing them. I went with the agent to identify the containers. One morning, the agent came to my house looking so harassed. What's the problem? He said, can't understand what is happening. The 2 containers of Brigadier Brandy were missing. Missing. And that was all I have as a young man that came out of university. In fact, I borrowed 150,000 from a finance company to make it up. And that was my problem. When I tried to reach out to all these friends who were running around me, they were running away from me. It was very clear to me that I was on my own. So what did I do? I was almost getting depressed. I was living at Coconut, Papa. That in my flat that time where I was living, I had about 14 boys living in my apartment. So they were going to work from my house and that about. They were living in that place. But when money started flowing, they all left one after the other, except one person. It became clear to me that in this life you need to mind yourself. So I had to relocate to Onitsha because I was getting depressed where my people were living. And I asked myself this question: what is the meaning of life? Is life about making money, making contact and connection that you may lose? It was at that point that a friend of mine invited me for a particular meeting. To a group of businessmen are having a meeting in a particular hotel in Onitsha. And I went for that meeting. If I don't be careful, I am dropping microphone for you. Okay, so see, if you don't want me to drop, if you don't want me to drop microphone, then you sit down. You greet later. Okay, so in that meeting, I came in. I saw top professionals and top businessmen, and they were talking about God. And I said, how can these kind of people talk about God? I thought people who talk about God are people who are not sharp, who are not smart, who cannot make it. No, we used to say God is for Jew men, remember? And it was that meeting I said, wow. And that is the day my life changed. And everything about me changed. The way I think, the way I relate to people changed that day. And that God that brought me, I knew later, it was later I knew that God brought me down so that I can seek his face. And I can tell you, I didn't regret it. It was difficult to get up again, but he was able to bring us up again. And now I have peace with man, peace with people around me. I have peace everywhere. On my 50th birthday, a lady stood up and said, tell me, can you tell us one of your greatest achievements? I told her my greatest achievement is the positive impact I've made in the life of people. Impact is not about how much you have, it's about what you use what you have to do, what you're able to do with what you have. And by the grace of God, I have been able to touch so many lives from that particular business that collapsed. So I had to move to another line of business. I'm into industrial chemicals and raw materials. So we deal with multinationals and thereabout. We help them in their raw materials. So what I look at, I do business so that I can fulfill the purpose of God concerning my life. I do business to raise money, to impact humanity, and make sure that I don't see where people are being oppressed. That's actually the essence of my doing business. And I am so fulfilled. That's why when this challenge came, I said, well, yeah, you're wasting your time. There on ground, where even on the hospital bed, I was still doing all the things I was doing. None stopped. So you cannot, I said, you cannot stop me because something is already inside of me. And so, because of it, we're able to, if not for that, if I didn't have that kind of mindset, I wouldn't have accepted to chairman this particular committee. Because the mindset I have is that, how can I make a positive impact? So even with my challenge of working and thereabouts, which I know in the next few months I will begin to move around again. But any opportunity I have to make a positive impact, I do it. Because that's what life is all about. If you don't make impact, that's what life is all about. So while we're here today, I thank God that the speakers today talked about networking. It's very, very important that we network. I'm not sure there's anybody here who are all adults. Nobody will begin to think about going to mess up now. Everybody wants to maintain a good name. Everybody wants a good name for himself right now. So whatever we can do for ourselves, we should be ready to do so. And so that we can, like somebody said, we can bring our, I was arguing that we needed to bring in our wives. I argued about it. So how can I be going for a program and I can't go with my wife? But people say, now let us do the first one. Let us come and do it ourselves. Then another time we can come with our family members. So I want to thank all of you for this opportunity. Even when I couldn't do it with my full strength, you allowed me to serve you, and I believe my service must be acceptable to you. Thank you, and God bless all of you.
Thank you so much, Igwe, for that speech and advice. At this point, we'll be continuing with the members' introduction, so we'll just continue from where we stopped. Thank you.
Wahala. Good afternoon, gentlemen without ladies. On a very serious note, I want to start by thanking Apanta Onyi. This is a master planner, a master organizer. Everything in life is not money. It is disposition, it is orientation, it is your focus. I don't want to spend too much time on that, but please help me to clap for him. Yeah. And there are other people on that. You know, sometimes when the plane is flying, you don't know that somebody is foiling it. What he said now, I didn't even know he was among the technical scene. Basi, I didn't know. Okoye, and so on and so forth. Please, I thank you all. My name remains, that man you used to know as Ubo BC is now a chief. Is that a chief? That's DOS to the fourth power. That's faculty DOS, departmental DOS, Ubo BC. That man that go carry only head, they work a small belly, everywhere is skinny. This is the man here. My name is Benedict Chikeze Ubo. I'm from Enugu State and from Udi local government, and specifically from Okpatu in Udi. The journey has been a very long one. When Chuks was talking, he brought me to memory lane. I was one of those guys that were taking exams for people. Risk. They almost caught me in one of them those times. You people did not know that when we go on holidays, I go to sell meat in the village to make up the little money my mechanic uncle was sponsoring me, was giving me. People like Odo used to know that I used to eat 010 or some 0. And so this man standing here used to drink A. You know you can swallow A, and the stomach will change, and hunger will reduce small. Those things happened in those days in the school. It hardened me and made me to be more determined. And I say failure will never be my portion. So when we came out of school in 1989, I quickly went back to do my MBA, the same school, in finance. When I came back, I worked in Diamond Bank. I was lucky. I had 80 leaves book. I will be writing application. I don't know whether there's any bank I've not written application to. Somehow that it must work out. So I got a job in Mutari Dangana finance company. And they said they're going to pay me 3,000 naira. I said 3,000 naira cannot transport me home because my uncle said you must keep money that will transport you home in case of emergency. I said, you can't transport me back home and bring me back to East where I came from. So I rejected the job. And Emeka Dean met me one day and said, you have interview with Diamond Bank. I said, yes. He said, please forget everything you are doing and focus on this interview. And to God be the glory, I got a job. Since then, it has been upwards going. I worked in Diamond Bank. I left there as an officer. I joined Zenith Bank. I left there as a manager. I joined Standard Trust Bank. That became UBA. And I left as a regional director at Abuja. 15 years work in the banking industry. And my family was in Lagos. I was in Abuja, living in Sheraton. Anyway, to make it short, I had to take the hard side. I started my own personal business. Came back to Lagos. I'm into hospitality industry. And those of you here that I've been waiting for somebody who's going to talk about finance because I need money to expand my territory. So I'm into hospitality. I have a couple of hotels. But you know there are hotels and there are hotels. There are stars of hotels. I'm going to be among the 3-star and 5 stars. But the little guest house I am doing today is still feeding me effectively well. So I am humbled to be here. I thank you people. You've said it all. That in networking. I just learned one thing today. Your network determines your net worth. That is a very cardinal statement. And I want to beg us. Because the reason why people like me, I was working with Emefiele at Zenith Bank. Short, I was his hand man. Used to call me, Ben, do this. Short, he will leave the branch manager and talk to me because I'm a hustler, I'm a people man. There's no nook and corner that I know they enter. That all the places not to go, I must go. But when Emefiele became the CBN governor, somebody asked me, don't you have somebody like Emefiele? Why are you talking about you don't have money to expand whatever? And I sent text message to Emefiele. I called, and I didn't get response. And you know, that kind local way knows Sabi how to. You know, Kezie knows that I know they tried their corner at that time. So I couldn't go further. So the thing I'm trying to say is this. Some of you that are privileged in position, when somebody calls you, it dampens the spirit of people when he sends message. Even if you cannot respond, send ordinary message back to that person. Because if I want to connect with you and you are not disposed to connect with me, I had better become the poor man I am and continue to manage. So please, all of us that are in positions for us to reject, because what we're doing now is not for us to get money to eat. No, everybody here is above that level. It's for us to leave legacy. And people that are coming behind us, what is going to come of them? Are they going to leverage on the opportunities we've had to become a better persons in the society so that the country will be better? Thank you very much.
Sorry. Good morning, all. I'm breaking protocol. Because of you. That's my right-hand man from school, up till date. From then till now. I will tell you why. We fixed our wedding, only to discover we fixed our wedding the same day. 19 December 1998. The next thing I knew, Nnamdi calls me, I've moved my own to 18th December. So we will not have a clash. That's how close we have been till date. I hope you understand. And I'm excited to be here. Why I'm breaking protocol is, Igwe called me. I said, I'm not sure I can make this function. Had a tight day. Nnamdi called me and said, no matter what, you must come here. Igwe, you are going to work by tomorrow. We'll discuss that. We'll discuss that. So, I'm into ministry and I started pondering, Father, how can I make this? I'm chairing my cousin's wedding. So I shifted my discipleship function for today to chair my cousin's wedding, only to get to the church and realize that they were just about starting. I went to Google. Google says for me to get to Sojourn at 18 minutes. My wife is out there in the car with my son. And I said, you know something? Let me put up appearance here. The church service will be 1 hour, 15 minutes, 1 hour, 30 minutes. And I'll be back there to chair the wedding. But let me come and see some of my old faces. The day I visited Ejo in his office, I didn't see General, but coming here, I immediately identified that he's the one sitting there. I'm fine. So it's been a wonderful 35 years. I don't know how many of you understand what I mean by wonderful. All of us here, I think the youngest person in this set should be 55 now. No, 55. Yeah, the youngest Yes, it's 55. So which means it's not Nnamdi. It's not Nnamdi. It's not. No, you won't know. Don't leave. Let's not. Well, I know because I happen to be the person's friend. You understand? So we all have seen decades, minimum 3 decades, post-graduation. Like Ubo BC was speaking, and it then occurred to me. Ubo BC, my first job in Lagos was 500 naira a month. I'm not joking. I moved from 500 naira a month to 1,400 naira in 6 months. And the next thing I moved into was I got into a bank. No, I got into a finance house. Ventures and Trust. Femi Akingbe is still there. Still running Ventures and Trust. From there, I moved to Royal Merchant Bank. From Royal Merchant Bank, Krista, which became STB. Attained group, regional group head. Left banking for telecoms. Airtel, became director of customer experience. Went to Starcoms, started my business. Went back to Lagos Business School as director of executive education. Came back to my business. And that is the reality of our lives. Nobody will say that it's been a smooth journey. I don't know if we understand. But when I walked in, the DC, I know many of you may not know what a DC means. The district coordinator in Full Gospel Businessmen Fellowship International. I was in Full Gospel. I wouldn't say I was invited, but I had a hunger in me. I was in traffic. A friend of mine saw me, horned and passed an invitation to me. And I took it. Same day function. And I attended. I got into Full Gospel. Started having an experience with the Lord. I became vice chairman of my chapter. The next vice president, slated to be president, I got another calling from the Lord. I want you to come to discipleship training. Full time. My friend Nnamdi is the only one with me. He knew the period I got into full discipleship training. It was while in the full discipleship training that he said, leave your consulting business. It sounded crazy. You know, as a human being, there are certain things that we cannot comprehend. I don't know if you understand. Leave this business. I asked God one thing. If you want me to leave this business, he says he wants me to go back to pay the employment. I said, I will never apply. You bring in the job. That's how I got to LBS. The lady who was to recruit for them, I trained for her company. I don't know if you understand. So it's not that she doesn't know who I am. But she says, anytime I pick this order, you are the one that comes to my head. I don't know why your name. I will read it. I said, Ifeanyi will deliver what these people want. I went for the interview. Imagine coming from telecoms. When they gave me the offer, I laughed. I said an interesting offer. That I passed this stage a long time ago when I was HOD in Econet before it became View Mobile and subsequent change of name to Airtel. I kept it. 2 weeks after my mother-in-law calls my wife, I went for a prayer session. The pastor said, your first daughter's husband is holding an important appointment God has given him, and he's taking it in another way. Because I looked at the pay, it didn't rhyme with anything. I know, we all understand that. I went to LBS. For 4 years, they were challenged. Restructured the place in the first year of my being there. LBS was able to pay bonus they haven't paid in 4 years. I achieved 96.75% of my target. They gave me a $1 billion target in executive education. After I achieved that, 6 months after, the Lord said, you need to move. that's why I said when you start talking about issues of God, it's no more your decision. Igwe called me and I said, I will not make it. The Lord has not given me a go ahead. But when every other thing played around out itself today, while waiting there in the church in the car, it just occurred to me you're supposed to be here. That's why I drove in here. And I said to my friend Oyoloto that, please let me introduce myself. I need to dash back, but a promise is I'm coming back in the evening. I'm going to come back this evening. Because we need to start at this age. We are alive by the grace of God. How many of us know that some of our classmates are gone? There's this guy in accounting. The day somebody sent a picture that he's late, I was shocked. No. He was big. Has this afro hair. I'm trying to remember his name. Dark. I think he's from around Middle Belt, Benue or so. No, not Charles Onyeche. You know, they say the guy is late. Even Raymond, a lot of people are late. And, yeah, Raymond, that was in accounting. We call him Prof. Yes, he's late. Yeah. Yeah, it's late. So when we think back and suddenly realize we are still alive, how many of us understand what grace is? We are alive by the grace of God. We're not alive because we have done anything special. As a matter of fact, if you look at your life, you should be dead. Isn't it? In the corporate world, we can tell ourselves the truth. Thank God our wives are not here. He mentioned about bringing our wives here. My wife is in the car out there. For the past 10, 15 years, I don't go to any function without her. When we had an accounting function here, she was here with me. Okay, you remember. I came with her. Because I learned something. When I was in the corporate world, you know the worst thing that happened to you in corporate world? You get up there and you go to a function. People are arranging for you. I hope you understand what I mean. And you stray. Please, my brother, we don't arrange at this level here. We are talking of... Those things were what I call serious distraction from our destiny. We don't know why we are going through the challenges we go through today. We may have derailed by one silly act of the flesh. I hope we understand that. So the truth now is, I say to people, I don't preach for any church. Take it from me. All I say is, do you have a relationship with the Lord? Is the Lord guiding you? When Enugu Disco gave me a job, Chief Strategy and Service Officer, we were negotiating salary, and I got 3 revelations. Day 1, day 2, day 3. The same revelation, I immediately knew what God was saying. He says, you are doing your own self-will. Imagine me going to Enugu, staying in Enugu, leaving the family here. There might be other risks I didn't see with it, but the Lord said you are doing your self-will. And I called the director who was negotiating with me, who is the current chairman of Niger Insurance. I said, sir, we cannot continue with this. The Lord said no. He called me and said, the Lord said what? I said no. You know, people don't understand that concept. So when he became chairman of Niger Insurance a year after, he came to Lagos, invited me to his hotel room, and we had a discussion. He wanted to understand why I rejected the offer. And was asking if I had any insurance this thing, because he wanted me to see if I could come into Niger Insurance to work with him. That is the point. We've gotten to a level where we should live our life as the Lord directs us. Not as we want. What do you want now? Let me even ask you. I don't know who said, whether it was Ubo BC when he was speaking, but I was looking at my phone, but I heard it. None of us here is looking for money to feed ourselves. And I'm sure most of us, by the grace of God, our kids should be almost out of school. I have 4 boys, 3 are graduated, 1 is still in school. So if you sit back and ask yourself, what at this level am I looking for? We should start looking for that relationship with our Creator that will make us have peace. He says, I will give you peace. Nigeria is in trouble. Oh. General won't agree with me because I see his postings at times and I chose to react by any means. We are in trouble. People are hungry. But by the grace of God, we eat our normal food. I haven't been to my office. I have a shared office. I appeared there last week. Everybody, you've added weight, you've added weight. And I went home and actually weighed myself and saw 98. I said, yeah. I hit 104. I worked on it and I dropped to 93 and maintained it for a long while. To reappear at 98, I said, wow. That means I've actually added weight, isn't it? But do I need that weight? No. Because it comes with its own health challenges. How many of us realize that? And I'm working to reduce it. This morning, 96.6. I said, okay, fine, you started well. I'm going back to 93. There are certain things at this age is what we're looking out for. Health, relationship with God, relationship with our fellow men. Peace in the family. Are we destroyers in our homes? Are we peace creators? When I mean family, I'm not talking of your immediate family. I'm talking of even the extended family. How do they view you? What impact are we making? And the only thing that can give us the ability to do that is what? Our relationship with Christ. If you don't have peace in your relationship with Christ, I can't have peace in my relationship with man. I'm not here to preach. When I come back in the evening, I'm going to share some books I have that will help all of us. For those who want to have a relationship with the Lord, it's not by force. Because in Holy Ghost School, we say to people, are you willing to come on this journey? It's a journey. I hope you understand. Lifetime journey. If you're not willing to come on this journey, we won't put, nobody, it's your choice. Because even if you tell me you want to come and you're lying to yourself, it won't work. I hope you understand. Yeah. So, the name is Ifeanyi Chukwu, not Ifeanyi. Ifeanyi Chukwu. When he said Ifeanyi Okafor, I smiled. Yes, as he was then known. My lawyers will say. No. Ifeanyi Chukwu Obiora Okafor. The full name is Ifeanyi Chukwu. From my birth certificate. It's not that I added anything new. Because when people say Ifeanyi, the complete name is Ifeanyi Chukwu because it has a meaning. And again, I'm into consulting. Ubo was saying, I need money. And when he said he needed finance, I said, Ubo BC, do you have a business plan? Do you have a business plan? A roadmap you will share with people. And they look at it and say, you know something? I'm going to invest in this. We help people develop business plans. I'm into accounting and tax management. Also, we do accounting for small businesses because the economy has changed where businesses can't afford to employ full-time accountants anymore. So we do what we call outsourced accounting. We set up the system. You send us information as needed and we populate it and handle your accounting and tax matters. But that is what I call a subsidiary job that I do. My main job is focusing on my ministry. May God help all of us in Jesus' name. Sorry, I will have to rush out. I'll be back. Yeah, I'll do that.
Yes. Hello, good morning, colleagues. Good morning, Great Lions. Yes, my name is Ugoke Pius, but I think most of us know me as PUC. The PUC is the abbreviation of Pius Ugu Chinyaka. Yes, We thank God for life, for bringing all of us here safely, for his grace upon our families, and for even enabling us to have time to be here. We all left in 1989. Upon leaving school, I came back home. I had nothing doing. So on a second thought, somebody advised me, say, look, this man, I know where you're supposed to be. Come, let me take you somewhere. So the person now took me to our late emeritus Professor Julius Honor, who was then he was the dean of the faculty then. So my uncle just said, this is your boy. I don't want him to sit at home. So find something for him. And I said, please, can you do what you're doing here? I said, yes, but please, I have a question. And I said, what is the question? I said, please, can I leave whenever I want to leave? He said, yes, you can leave. So my uncle was now trying to ask me why I had to ask that question. My interest was to go to the industry and practice, and not to remain as a lecturer, because I was employed initially as a graduate assistant in the department. All of you know, most of my friends know what happened. So I was there doing my job as a graduate assistant. Before somebody now came and said he needed to be admitted, he applied for MBA admission in the department, and they needed me to help him. So I said, okay, what do I do? I said, okay, let me look at your file and see what qualifications you had. So I looked at his file and saw that the guy was our best student descent after us. I said, Ike, you don't have any, sorry, yes, I don't have any problem. So when he was going, he gave me 1,000 naira as dash. Are you people getting me? He gave me 1,000 naira as dash. Meanwhile, my salary was 928 naira. Yes, that was my monthly salary as a graduate assistant in the department. So I just talked to myself. I said, look, this man, what are you doing here? Why don't you go and find money like other guys are doing? So the lure of money now took me away from the department, because I wanted to go and make money like my other colleagues. So luckily, December 1993, I joined Afribank. I joined Afribank, worked up to doing the Sanusi tsunami that got a lot of banks restructured, Afribank inclusive. So from Afribank, we went to Main Street. So after Main Street, there was acquisition by Skybank in 2014. So I worked up to 2014. So I worked with Skybank from then up to 2014. Then after 2014, Skybank took over. So we now worked up to June 2016, when they had to right size, and some of us had to. We look at the conditions, it was not favorable to us. We now decided to go away and find something else for our lives. So I left that time. I came back to Enugu and decided to go for an MSc program, because I still had interest in my academics. In fact, somebody asked me, say, why did you even go? That would have been a prof by now. I said, look, God has his own reasons for allowing most of these things to happen. So I now came back for an MSc. That was after our MBA, immediately after graduation, after our NYSC. So after doing that, I look at myself, I said, what will I be doing from now till as time goes on? I don't want to be idle. So I now applied for a job in one microfinance bank at Nsukka. Instead of just staying idle, I said, let me just keep myself busy. So after applying, I got the job. I told myself, no, I cannot just end here. This is not my destination. So I now also applied for a PhD program, which I'm presently running. So that's my story for now. Thank you so much.
Yes. Lions? Anyway, my real name is Okakume Jacob. You know, when we are on campus, many people only know me as J Photos. So I'm always proud to be
called J Photos or the name you know me. Hallelujah. So we left 1989, I read finance, because I've already served before I entered the university in those days when NC was recognized. So I did not serve again. I applied for MBA. I was among the first people that we are taking during our set. So I finished my MBA in 1990. No, I was given a certificate 1991 February. So among the first people. I married also in 1990. Right now, I have 5 children, 4 boys, 1 girl. All of them are graduates. The last one I just finished 2 months ago. I've also been a grandfather because my son married 2022. They are away. They are in Europe. So presently, with that MBA, I just added accountancy to it. I'm a senior accountant with Cetraco Nigeria Limited. I had my FCA some years back, I think about 14 years now, chartered accountant, FCA. Then, what's next? You see know me as that photographer. It's along my business. I cannot run away from it. Yes. Though I don't do it for commercial purpose, but for fun. If you have something, those who know me, as we come, I give you professional touch. Yes, that's what I do. So, thank you. I live at. Oh, I'm a pastor with Foursquare Gospel Church. Pastor with Foursquare Gospel Church. And presently, I am living at Ahoda in River State. Yes. You are blessed.
I greet everyone a second time around. Please don't mind that I'm coming out with paper. I just hope my own story won't be too long. The reason why I have this paper is for me to be able to connect in my talk. 2021, June 24, I died. Yes, so many people will be, so surprised to hear that. How can a dead man still be talking? I went for a function, and after breakfast, before the meeting, I passed out. It took, let's say 48 hours before help came, which resulted to brain surgery. That's this mark here. And after the brain surgery, it took me about 4 months before I was able to use the brain again. That means for 4 months, I was lying down, wearing diapers, we eat. If I didn't know what was happening around me. And after 4 months, I started learning how to stand up and stand straight. I started learning how to talk and make sense. It was a long period for me of recovery. But to God be the glory that today I can stand between you and I will be able to talk and make sense. It's just that the God who made it possible for me to survive that period knows that I'm still relevant in the scheme of his things. My prayer is that he will continue to consider me relevant. Yes, when we left school, I served in Sokoto, the same place with Basi. I served in NSCB, and that was the last time I worked in a formal organization. So when I got back home, I was expecting to maybe get involved with my father's business of farming then, but something happened and I had to leave home. I came to Lagos. I came to Lagos to look for work. I guess in 1 or 2 occasions, I came towards the office. But the work wasn't coming that fast. One of the things that worked against me then was leaving school too early. There was a particular one that would have clicked, and they were telling me of all people that we interviewed, you did the best. But this is a near managerial position, and your age does not support it. Why don't you go back to school? Me, when I don't cry, say my papa spent too much to take me through 4 years. You won't make I go back. I never even earned 1 kobo. So it was at that moment I decided on my own to go into whatever it can be for private practice. And so I taught myself graphic designs. So as it is now, I'm a graphic artist, full-time. So through graphic designs, I went into other sections of printing. But I never owned a printing studio, because in printing itself, there are pre-press, there is press, and post-press. And these 3 sections anybody who fits into it very well can be sustained. We used to say that in Nigeria, there is no press that is complete, because what makes a press complete is having pre-press, press itself, and post-press. So that was what I was doing until 2019. I had a call into ministry. Yes, I wedded 23 years ago. And after my wedding, I got involved with training of those who are to wed. I'm a Catholic. And so I work in the marriage school. In the Archdiocese of Lagos, there are training schools for those who are teaching in the marriage schools. I attended that training school almost 22 years ago. And so even in the Archdiocese of Lagos, as far as marriage is concerned, if you go to training center in Yaba and mention my name, they will tell you that they know I exist. So that year, I started a program that has to do with bringing families together. It was the success of the program that led me to registering an NGO called Rescue Marriage and Relationship Initiative. It was this NGO that I went for the meeting when this crisis came. But thank God that I survived it. So for 3 years, I was not really active because I was trying to recover. But the years before the crisis, I was making an impact here in Lagos, because some of the time I'll get invitation to the radio house, FM station. Some of the times there was another program we started for Plateau State. So we have 2 major programs that we are doing in Nigeria. One is Dua Varieties Night, that's for Lagos. The second one is Just Love Feast, that is for Plateau State. We also try to start a program in Enugu that we'll call 042 Together, but that didn't pick up. I remember I went for a program in Jos, and it really was very difficult because among the people I selected as my directors, I was selecting them from the point of view of a human being, not from God's direction. And so those ones that I had hoped will help me, they all disappointed me. The program we went to in Jos didn't really pay much. And I was leaving Jos broke and in serious debt. I remember the first encounter I had concerning this job. I went to the chapel to pray. And I was telling God, how can you bring me this out? And you will abandon me. I'll go back home. This is Christmas approaching. I'm owing service providers in Jos. I'm going back home empty. How will my children survive? At that point, I had a voice that told me, go to your friend, Ejike Mbaka. I have told him that you are coming. I was surprised. I came back to Lagos, and I headed to Enugu. It was really a very, very surprising situation for me to see Ejike one-on-one. And when I told him why I came, he said, I have been directed. How much do you need? It was a big question. I said 500,000. He wrote a check of 500,000 and gave to me. And when I collected the check, I was not too certain it was going to pay. So the next day I went to bank in Enugu and the check paid. It was when I came back that I was asking myself, things really happen this way. And God told me, you see, when Ifeanyi was talking, he was making this statement to God said. For those of us who are here who have no impact, no relationship that will confirm the word God told me, please, I will beg you, make every effort to make it happen. It's simple. I never knew it does happen until I had that personal relationship with God. So for the NGO, that's the only thing I do now. And okay, the other part, I got married 13th April 2022, and 13 years after, we are still childless. 2002, 2002. I make her carry this paper. Miss Ian. So, 12 years plus, we are still childless. I have 2 children in my house now, 2 of my own. The first one is Antonia, who is 10 years, doing very well. I adopted her from Enugu. The second one is Michael. Michael is going to 4. I adopted him here in Lagos. So when it comes to child bearing, there is none I can hold on to. So, okay, this one, I may give the belena, my wife born for. But I see my house being filled with children. These 2, God presented them to me wonderfully well. They are doing excellently good. And so for all of us who are seated here who are this blessed, you don't know what God has done for you. So whether you have 7, you have 9, you have 1, you have 2, but these ones are gifts of God to you. You never can imagine what a childless couple go through. I can tell my own story, okay? But it didn't debar my happiness and joy in my home. I have the best of wives. I have the best of wives. I remember when I was asking for a particular attention from him. Yes, my wife told me, if it's not working out the way you had thought, just go to this reunion and enjoy yourself. I left my camera at home, and I wanted to follow what she said. And went, hey, come on, love it. See this guy. Come now. All right, thank you. Please let him sit. Let him sit. You see, the good thing about this program is that it's as if it's unending. There's going to be evening units, right? So back to my story. I see the gift of speaking into people's marriages as a special gift from God. And I hold that very, very close to my heart. I speak to people, I speak to their marriages, I speak to their relationship. I'm available also on social media. I will still beg that at the end of this program, I will have opportunity to post things to our common group. But the only thing I will beg is, for now, is that we are all in this platform, the platform that has been raised for the group. I want to beg, a lot of us have come up here to talk about themselves and what they do. Please, as short as you can make it, send this same story that you've raised concerning yourself to as short as it can be to the group. The reason why I'm saying that is that I've seen some of us who carry our phone to somebody, I should have your number, please send to me. Why we all belong to the same platform where we can assess ourselves. But we can't do that assessing there because we have not said anything about ourselves. What I might see will just be name or phone number. Then who is that person? That is what I'm begging that we should all do, even before we go to the next section. As you are seated there, go to that platform. Tell us who you are. So that if I am interested in networking with you, I will know how to get across to you. God bless you. When you send it there, you are sending it with your own number. So it becomes easy to... Okay. Yes. My name is Mbakwo. That's the surname. Then in school, some of you make the mistake of calling me Mbakwe because Mbakwe was the governor of Old Imo State. My name is Mbakwo, Mbakwo. You call me Damian then. Yes, that's my baptismal name. Damian. Damian. Yeah, it was Ike then. Ike. So, Mbakwo Damian Ike Chukwu. But I have extended it now to the KA, Ike Chukwuka. After my travel, that was what held me back to life. The power of God is the greatest. So, Mbakwo Damian Ike Chukwuka. Thank you so much.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. I think I consider myself as the old man out here because of my own background. I am Rashid Olawi Yusuf, a retired Major General of the Nigerian Army. Why I consider myself of a different background is that I was already an army officer before I got into University of Nigeria Enugu campus. Well, I'll just give an insight on why I ended up at University of Nigeria Enugu campus. I got into Nigerian State Academy in 1981, January 3rd. Because of the nature of the training, of course, very strenuous, challenging. So as new cadets, we always want to give an impression as if we have other alternatives. So quite a number of my classmates then would tell you, and I was supposed to be University of Ife. Then I didn't apply to any of the universities when I was graduating from secondary school. My best option at that material time was Nigerian Defense Academy. So in order to give an academic identity to myself, so I told them then that I'd been admitted into University of Nigeria, Enugu. Meanwhile, I never had any jump admission. I told them Enugu because nobody can go and confirm whether there was any Aru Yusuf in Enugu. But eventually, when I became an army officer, as part of the opportunities for military officers, as young officers, we are given opportunity to further your education. And one of our qualifications in NDA then, we call it Nigerian Defense Academy Certificate of Education, which was an equivalent of A-levels. The exam was moderated by University of Badon. It was that I used to get admission into Enugu campus. So I was more like a direct entry student. Then my face might not be too touchy with so many people because I was already working. I was on sponsorship, so I had lesser pressure. Under the army arrangement, they gave me an accommodation in Independence Layout. So I didn't have so much pressure. I just go, and you know we have Almighty June. I'll come around, then I'll go. I'll come around, then I go. Just because I didn't have that pressure that at the end of the course, I'll be looking for a job because I already have a job. I think that didn't give me the opportunity to socialize so much with so many people. But I was very more visible with my, I studied management, business management. I was in management department. So for those of them who were my classmates, then quite a number of them know me very well. And when I graduated, because I was in the system, coincidentally I was posted back. I was serving in Lagos before I got admission. After I graduated, I was posted back to Enugu, to 82 Division. And I was there before I went to the Gambia. I served in so many other places in Nigeria up to the time I retired in 2018, after 35 years of service. something of reckoning is that at the time I was retiring, I was the second in command to the chief of army staff, who incidentally was also my coursemate, and that's General Buratai. And one of the commands I held when I was in service is in Lagos, Abati Barracks. And I'm also privileged that a building was named after me. I'm sure quite a number of you, if you go around that to Ujeleba, you will see one building, Major General Yusuf Transit Accommodation. And that's because I was a former commander there. Since I retired, I've become a pensioner. But you know, you still have one or two things you need to do. So I've consolidated every of my effort, everything around Abu Ejo, who is the chairman of the company where I'm a director. I also have a company that I'm also the chairman myself. And I do a few things. But what I can say is that because of my background, if there's any assistance anybody needs, maybe with respect to your children or family members who wants to get into, for example, Nigerian Space Academy, I think I will be very handy. And I will also be very handy if there's anyone who has any of his children going for NYSC postings. And you want maybe a posting or a deployment. I think I'll be handy to give that support. I am married. I'm married. No, this is my chairman. Incidentally, I would just say it just by the way. It's very difficult to be a military officer and you will not have side chick. Yeah, it's extremely difficult, because 90% of our career, we're always too far away from our families. You can see it's so there was always a need. There will always be a need for you to have your family resident in a location, but you'll be serving the army all across the country. So, like I said, I have 5 kids, 4 boys, and 1 girl. 3 of my kids are in Canada. 1 is taken to my profession, and the other one too is also working in Lagos. So all of them are working. So we give glory to God for that. So that is me. I live here in Maryland. I'm very close to Mr. Abu Ejo. I try not to keep away from him. I try not to keep away from him. So that is me. So I'm too happy and excited to be here with everyone here. And I pray that the Almighty God will continue to guide and be with us. Amen. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, so it's time for lunch. Due to the time, it's almost 2. So thank you. So it's time for lunch. Come back, continue. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yes, please.
si elugwegwe onwere anụ afụlụ n'isi azụ enwere anụ nju ụwa jụjụ eji ya fụfụwa n'isi ilochalụ n'ụzọ ndị agọziri agọzi ekwensu chalụ n'ụzọ ndị agọziri agọzi ebe anyị tinyere aka ebe ahụ bụ sọ ngọzi ebe anyị tinyere ụkwụ ebe ahụ bụ welewele egwu anyị tinyere aka egwu ahụ bụ welewele onyinye Chukwu nyere anyị ka anyị ji aga n'ụwa brọda obie 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 ayahe 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 anyanwụ agịlị gị na wufusi anyị dị ka mmiri mmiri a na-enweli ilo ma ncha anyị bụ mmiri mmiri a na-enweli ilo ma ncha nwoke na-aṅụ mmiri nwaanyị na-aṅụ mmiri nwata na-aṅụ mmiri okenye na-aṅụ mmiri ụgbọ dịrị Igbo fapụta onye ọbụla mụlewanụ ebe anyị tinyere aka ebe afọ bụ sọ ngozi ife anyị metụrụ aka ife ahụrụ welewele onyinye Chukwu nyere anyị ka anyị ji aga n'ụwa brọda obie 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 ayahe 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 ụmụ Chukwu tinye aka n'ụba onwere anụ afụlụ n'isi azụ enwere anụ nju ụwa jụjụ eji ya fụfụwa n'isi ilochalụ n'ụzọ ndị agọziri agọzi ekwensu chalụ n'ụzọ ndị agọziri agọzi ebe anyị tinyere aka ebe ahụ bụ sọ ngọzi ebe anyị tinyere ụkwụ ebe ahụ bụ welewele egwu anyị tinyere aka egwu ahụ bụ welewele onyinye Chukwu nyere anyị ka anyị ji aga n'ụwa brọda obie 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 ayahe 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 ụmụ Chukwu tinye aka n'ụba nzanzamba na-ekwu ụmụ dịrị Igbo na anyị na-ekwu nzanzamba na-ekwu ụmụ Chukwu tinye aka n'ụba nzanzamba na-ekwu ụmụ dịrị Igbo anyị lụsị ọrụ wele oke gị nye m oke m anyị sụsị ya afịa wele oke gị nye m oke m ọkụ ijide nke gị njide nke m n'udo ga n'ọsọ ga-eme ilie nke gị ilie nke mụ n'ọsọ ga-agba lululululu ulu daye anyanwụ ọ naghị elu ya eso ma ncha egbe ịgbala anyanwụ agịlịgị na wụfusi anyị dị ka mmiri mmiri a na-enweli ilo ma ncha anyị bụ mmiri mmiri a na-enweli ilo ma ncha nwoke na-aṅụ mmiri nwaanyị na-aṅụ mmiri nwata na-aṅụ mmiri okenye na-aṅụ mmiri ụgbọ dịla Igbo fapụta onye ọbụla mụlewanụ ebe anyị tinyela aka
Abẹ́rẹ́ dídì dán àti báńkì W àwọn ti Yankee èmi náà ti di Yankee o mo ti bá Colin Powell pò lórí stage ó dẹ̀ quality.
I got some stunning shades on, Prada on my back, Louis on my feet, Gucci on my wrist. I'm a big boy. They hate on me 'cause I'm a big boy.
Mixing non-stop. Non-stop. Tearing up the joint live.
DJ Fenton.
In the mix.
Shots by the hollow side. You said he reached her, but he didn't have no peace, sir. But now he rests in peace, sir, in the belly of the beast, sir. You guys are vampires in the middle of the night, stuck in a told me the murder was an error, an error.
Mix it non-stop. Non-stop. Tearing up the joint live. In the mix.
DJ Famco.
False pretender. Stop, turn it. I hope you will see the love I'm saying. Watch this.
Ain't no use pretending you don't feel the way I do.
Check it.
When this message at your body sending, I can tell you want it do. Why do you wanna hide the way you feel inside? It's too late to turn back now. Every little touch it means so much. So girl, just let me show you out. Your body can't lie to me, 'cause I know just what you're needing. Your body can't lie to me. So we need a simple healing.
You know, no, none of it. Tell me, you gotta try real hard. I tried hard, but I guess I gotta try hard.
I try so hard, can't seem to get away from misery. Man, I try so hard, will always be a victim of these streets. It ain't my fault, 'cause I try to get away, but trouble follows me. And still I try so hard, hoping one day you'll come and rescue me. But until then, I'll be posted up right here, ain't sleep, hell, snow. But until then, I'll be posted up right here with my heat getting low.
First let me explain that I'm just a black man, and I come from the dark side, so I'm having a hard time staying on track, man. My mind be racing, and I don't even know what I'm chasing yet. Been in and out of relationships, I'm starting to see that it's me with the complications at, but I'm laying back, praying that you get that peace of mind of me. I thought I was right, but really I'm wrong, then again I was too blind to see. I was in the fast lane, chasing my dream, and then the scene when the fame and cash came, they just got me going crazy. Lately, I've been so faded, trying to erase it, but I just can't, 'cause the drama just goes greater. And I've been in so many collisions, I'm putting shit off till later.
I try so hard, can't seem to get away from misery. Man, I try so hard, will always be a victim of these streets. It ain't my fault, 'cause I try to get away, but trouble follows me. And still I try so hard, hoping one day you'll come and rescue me. But until
On my way to see my friends, who live a couple blocks away from me. As I walk through the subway, must have been about 3:15. In front of me stood a beautiful honey with a beautiful body. She asked me for the time. I said the cost of her name, 6-digit number, and a date with me tomorrow at 9. Did she decline? No. Didn't she mind? I don't think so. Or was it for real? Damn sure. What was the deal? A pretty girl is 24, so is she keen? She couldn't wait. Cinnamon queen, let me update. What did she say? She said she loved to rendezvous. She asked me what we were gonna do. Some stop with a bottle of Moet for Monday. Took her for a drink on Tuesday. We were making love by Wednesday, and on Thursday and Friday and Saturday we chilled on Sunday. I met this guy on Monday. Took her for a drink on Tuesday. We were making love by Wednesday, and on Thursday and Friday and Saturday we chilled on Sunday. 9 was time, 'cause I be getting mine, and she was looking fine. Smooth talker, she told me she loved to unfold me all night long. Ooh, I love the way she kicked it, from the front to the back she flipped it. And yeah, hope that you care, 'cause I'm a man who'll always be there. I'm not a man to play around, baby, 'cause a one night stand isn't really fair. From the first impression, girl, you don't seem to be like that, 'cause there's no need to check, for there'll be plenty time for that. From the subway to my home, endless ringing off my phone. When you're feeling all alone, all you gotta do is just
got a man and a son though. Oh, when that's okay, cause I wait for my cue and just listen, play my position like a show star. Pick up everything, mommy hitting, and in no time, I better make this one him mine. And that's for sure, cause I've never been the type to break up a happy home. But it's something that baby girl, I just can't leave alone. Tell me, mom, what's it gonna be? She said,
you don't know what you mean to
come
me.
on.
All I think about is you. Even when I'm with my boo, oh, you know I'm crazy over you. No matter what I do, all I think about is you. Even when I'm with my boo, you know I'm crazy over you.
Mix it non-stop. Joint live. In the mix.
Now shorty, she in the club, she dancing for dollars. She got a thing for that Gucci, that Fendi, that Prada, that BCBG, Burberry, Dolce and Gabbana. She feed them fools fantasies, they pay her cause they want her. I spit a little G, man, and my gang got her. An hour later, had her ass up in the Ramada. Them trick niggas in the ear saying they think about her. I got the bitch by the bar trying to get a drink about her. She like my style, she like my smile, she like the way I talk. She from the country, then she like me cause I'm from New York. I ain't that nigga trying to holler cause I want some head. I'm that nigga trying to holler cause I want some bread. I could care less how she perform when she in the bed. Bitch at that track, catch a date and come and pay the kid. Look baby, this is simple, you can't see. You fucking with me, you fucking with a P.I.M.P. I don't know what you heard about me, but a bitch can't get a dollar out of me. No Cadillac, no perms, you can't see. Then I'm a motherfucking P.I.M.P. I don't know what you heard about me, but a bitch can't get a dollar out of me. No Cadillac, no perms, you can't see. Then I'm a motherfucking P.I.M.P.
I'm walking away from the troubles in my life. I'm walking away. Find a better day. I'm walking away from
my stones. Let it rain, I hydroplane in the bank, coming down at the Dow Jones. When the clouds come, we gone. We Rockefellers, we fly higher than weather, and cheap clouds are better. You know me, in anticipation for precipitation, stack chips with a rainy day. Jay, Rain Man is back. Jay, Rain Man is back. Jay, Rain Man is back. With Little Miss Sunshine, Rihanna, where you at?
You have my heart, and we'll never be worlds apart. Maybe in magazines, but you still be my star. Baby, 'cause in the dark, you can't see shiny cars. And that's when you need me there. With you, I'll always share. Because when the sunshine, we shine together. Told you I'll be here forever. Said I'll always be your friend. Took an oath, I'ma stick it out to the end. Now that it's raining more than ever, know that we'll still have each other. You can stand under my umbrella. You can stand under my umbrella. Ella, ella, under my umbrella. Ella, ella, under my umbrella. Ella, ella, under my umbrella. Ella, ella,
So amazing how this world was made. I wonder if God is a woman.
DJ Femco to pop.
The gift of life astounds me to this day. I give it up for the woman.
DJ Femco.
She's the constant wind that fills my sail. Oh, that woman. With a smile and a star, she'll protect you like a child. That's a woman. She'll put a smile upon her face and take you to the higher place. So don't you underestimate strength of a woman, 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 woman.
DJ Femco to pop.
I know they wanna come and separate us, but they can't do us nothing. You're the one I want, and I'ma continue loving. 'Cause you're considered wifey, and I'm considered husband, and I'ma always be there for you.
不管你用任何眼光看我，我都不会选择放弃。我要坚持到底，忽略那些冷言冷语。爱是如此珍贵，值得我们彼此相信，两颗心才越靠越近。
And no one knows why I'm into you. 'Cause you'll never know what it's like to walk in our shoes.
没人会懂，是我们的梦。有再多困难，只要牵手就变得不同。That's why we'll break through.
And I don't care what they say. I'm gonna be with you. I'm gonna be with you. I'm gonna be with you.
我不在乎这么做。I'm gonna be with you. I'm gonna be with you. I'm gonna be with you.
Seems like every day, like every day, like every day, like every day, like every day.
To the left, to the left. To the left, to the left. To the left, to the left. Everything you own in the box to the left. In the closet, that's my stuff. Yes, if I bought it, please don't touch.
internationally known on the microphone. I got it all, but I really need a wife at home. I don't really like the zone, never spend the night alone. I got a few, you would like the bone, but chicks that romance me don't tickle my fancy. Bone and Tiffany Nancy, that's not what my plans be. Need a girl that can stand me, raise me a family. Go from trips to the land, see the trips to the Grammys. Cause most of these girls be confusing me. I don't know if they really love me or they using me. Maybe it's the money or maybe you ain't used to me. Cause you was depressed and now you abusing me. That's why I need me a girl to be true to me. Know about the game and know how it do to me. Without a girl on my side, shit'll ruin me. Forget the world, girl, it's you and me. Now let's ride.
I need a girl to ride with me. I need a girl to make my I need a girl that makes me feel so good inside. In my life, I need a girl to ride with me. I need a girl to be my I need a girl that makes me feel so good inside.
It's your birthday. We gon' party like it's your birthday. We gon' sip Bacardi like it's your birthday. And you know we don't give a fuck, it's not your birthday. You'll find me in the club, bottle full of bub. Look, mommy, I got the X, I'm into taking drugs. I'm into having sex, I ain't into making love. So come give me a hug, get into getting rough. You can find me in the club, bottle full of bub. Look, mommy, I got the X, I'm into taking drugs. I'm into having sex, I ain't into making love. So come give me a hug, get into getting rough. When I pull up out front, you see the Benz on dub. When I roll 20 deep, it's 20 knives in the club, niggas. Dre, now they wanna show me love. When you sell like Eminem and the hoes, they wanna fuck. Chain hold down, G's up. I see exhibit in the cut, they nigga roll that weed up. If you watch how I move, you mistake before I play up here. Been hit with a few shells, but I don't walk with a limp. In the hood, in the lady saying 50, you hot. They like me, I want them to love me like they love pop. But holla in New York, the niggas will tell you I'm loco. And the plan is to put the rap game in the choke. I'm fully focused, man. My money on my mind, got a meal out the deal, and I'm still in the grind. Now shorty says she feeling my style, she feeling my flow. A girl from Wooded, they buy and they ready to go. I'm in the club, bottle full of bub. Look, mommy, I got the head, sip you into taking drugs. I'm into having sex, I ain't into making love. So come give me a hug, get into getting rough. You can find me in the club, bottle full of bub. Look, mommy, I got the head, sip you into taking drugs. I'm into having sex, I ain't into making love. So come give me a hug, get into getting
DJ Famco.
I'm steady trying to find the motive. Why do what I do? The freedom ain't getting no closer. No matter how far I go, my car is stolen. No registration. Cops patrolling. And now they done stop me and I get locked up. They won't let me out. They won't let me out. Locked up. They won't let me out. No. They won't let me out. Locked up. They won't let me out. They won't let me out. Locked up. They won't let me out. No. They won't let me out. Heading uptown to Rio. Back with a couple peeps. The corner blocks on fire. Undercovers dressed as fiends. Making so much money. Products moving fast. Put away the stash. And as I sold the last bag, fucked around and got locked up. They won't let me out. They won't let me out. Locked up. They won't let me out. No. They won't let me out.
Mixing non-stop. Non-stop. Tearing up the joint live. DJ Fenton. In the mix.
My days are cold without you, but I'm hurting while I'm with you. And though my heart can't take no more, I can't keep running back to you. See, my days are cold without you, but I'm hurting while I'm with you. And though my heart can't take no more, I won't keep running back to you.
There's another one. DJ Famco.
Think I found my strength to finally get up and leave. No more broken heart for me. No more telling you lies to me. I'm looking like I got my head on right, so now I see. No more giving you everything. There's no more taking my love from me. See, my days are cold without you, but I'm hurting while I'm with you.
DJ Franco.
Faking the fluid, water dripping off asses of women that's shaking into it while I'm taking you through it. No mistaking my crew, it's flip mode, baby. Got you acting all stupid. Now I'm back in the coopin'. Just to tell you the truth, is some niggas that be having you black and then ready to lose it. Pushing Lambos and Harleys, rocking Roberto Cavalli. Now I got a new hobby, diamonds and tattooing bodies. Watch me crash through the party. Go ahead and spaz, girl. Tattooing the name of my clique across your ass, girl. We bout to blast, girl. From here to Albuquerque, like Jamaican niggas rocking big chains and soccer jerseys. Take you on hotter journeys. The way we put it down and be hitting, be having you shitting more than a box of Hershey. We come to control it, we come to command it, and just for the record, we always come to set a new standard, act like you know.
In case you ain't knowing, in case you ain't heard, and if you want us to set it, just give me the word. This one goes down to my soldiers that be flipping them birds. To all my shorties wiggling and shaking their curves, just make it clap. Just make it clap. Just make it. Yeah, yeah. I know what it is. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. I see y'all know what it is. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. I see y'all know what it is. Yeah, yeah. Why'd you have to go away from me now? Hey.
banging with a gang of instrumentals. Got the pens and pencils, got down to business. But sometimes the business end of this shit can turn your friends against you. But you was a real nigga, I could sense it in you. I still remember the window of the car that you went through. That's fucked up, but I'll never forget the bends we've been through. And I'll do whatever it takes to convince you. Cause you my nigga, Doc, and easy, I'm still with you. Fuck the P, nigga, I miss you. And that's just being real with you. You see, the truth is, everybody wanna know how close Snoop is. And who I'm still cool with. Then I got these fake ass niggas I first flew with, claiming they non-violent, talking like they spit venom in interviews, speaking on reunions, move units, then talk shit and we can do this. Until then, I ain't even speaking your name. Just keep my name out of your mouth and we can keep it the same, nigga. It ain't that I'm too big to listen to the rumors, it's just that I'm too damn big to pay attention to them. That's the difference.
What's the difference between me and you? You talk a good one, but you don't do what you're supposed to do. I act on what I feel and never deal with emotions. I'm used to living big dog style with straight coaches. What's the difference between me and you? You talk a good one, but you don't do what you're supposed to do. I act on what I feel and never deal with emotions. I'm used to living big dog style with straight coaches.
Yo, I stay with it while you try to perpetrate and play with it. Never knew it was the next level of shit. I stay committed.
It's Friday and I'm ready to swing. Pick up my girls and hit the party scene tonight. Oh, it's alright. So get up and let this funky mellow groove get you in the mood. 'Cause you know it's alright. Yeah. Keep on grooving. Don't stop moving. Don't stop moving. Let me see you go. Let me see you go.
Still doing that shit, Andre? Oh, for sure. Yeah. Check me out.
It's still Dre Day, nigga. AK, nigga. Though I've grown a lot, can't keep it home a lot. Cause when I frequent the spots that I'm known to rock, you hear the bass from the truck when I'm on the block. Ladies, they pay homage, but haters say Dre fell off. How, nigga, my last album was The Chronic. They wanna know if he still got it. They say raps changed. They wanna know how I feel about it.
You ain't up on things.
Dr. Dre is the name, I'm ahead of my game. Still puffin' my leaf, still fuck with the beats. Still not loving police. Still rock my khakis with a cuff and a crease. Still got love for the streets, reppin' 213. Still the beats bang, still doing my thing. Since I left, ain't too much change.
Still, I'm representing for them gangsters all across the world.
Still
hitting them corners and them lolos, girl.
Still taking my time to perfect the beat, and I still got love for the streets. It's the D.R.E.
I'm representing for them gangsters all across the world.
Still
hitting them corners and them lolos, girl.
Still taking my time to perfect the beat, and I still got love.
No scrub, the scrub is a guy that can't get no love from me. Hanging on the passenger side of his best friend's ride, trying to holler at me. I don't want no scrub. The scrub is a guy that can't get no love from me. Hanging on the passenger side of his best friend's ride, trying to holler at me.
Look at me, but his game is kinda weak, and I know that he cannot approach me. 'Cause I'm looking like class and he's looking like trash. Can't get with a deadbeat. So, no, I don't want your number, no. I don't wanna give you mine, and no, I don't wanna meet you nowhere, no. Don't want none of your time.
No, I don't want no scrub. A scrub is a guy that can't get no love from me. Hanging on the passenger side of his best friend's ride, trying to holler at me. I don't want no scrub. Scrub is a guy that can't get no love from.
Baby, I just don't get it. Do you enjoy being hurt? I know you smell the perfume, the makeup on his shirt. You don't believe his stories. You know that there are lies. Bad as you are, you stick around and don't know why.
If I was your man,
Baby, you
never worry about
what I do.
I'd be coming home.
Back to you every night, doing you right.
You're the type of woman
Deserve good fame,
this full of
a
diamonds.
head full of rain.
Baby, you're a star.
I just wanna show you you are. You should let me love you. Let me be the one to give you everything you want and need. A baby, good love and protection. Make me your selection. Show you the way love's supposed to be.
Baby, you should let me love you, love you, love you, love you. These streets remind me of quicksand. When you're on it, you'll keep going down, and there's no one to hold on to, and there's no one to pull you out.
Mix it non-stop. Non-stop. Tearing up the joint live. In the mix.
These streets remind me of quicksand. When you're on it, you'll keep going down, and there's no one to hold on to, and there's no one to pull you out. You keep on falling, no one can hear you calling, so you end up self-destructing. On the corner with the toolie on the waistline, just got about the Bing doing state time. Teeth marks on my back from the K9. Dark memories of when there was no sunshine. Cause they said that I wouldn't make it. I remember like yesterday, holding on to what God gave me. Cause that's the life when you're living in the and eating in the oh, sleeping in the ghetto. That's the life when you're living in the and eating in the oh, sleeping in the ghetto. No need to cherish luxuries, cause everything come and go. Even the life that you have is borrowed, cause you're not promised tomorrow. So live your life as if every day's gonna be your last. Once you move forward, can't go back, just pretend to remove your past. Cause you gotta be willing to pray. Yes, there gotta be a better way. Oh, yes, you gotta be willing to pray. Cause there gotta be a better day. Yeah. Whoever said that the struggle would stop today, a lot of niggas dead or locked away. Teenage women growing up with AIDS, cause that's the life when you're living in the oh, eating in the oh, sleeping in the ghetto. That's the life when you're living in the oh, eating in the oh, sleeping in the
Got to do with it, baby. Got to do with it, baby.
Slow down, baby. Let you know from the gate, I don't go down, lady. I want a chick with thick hips that licks her lips. She could be the office type, but like the strip. Girl, you get me aroused, how you look in my eye. But you talk too much, man, you're ruining my high. I wanna lose the feeling, cause the roof is ceiling is on fire. And you looking good for the getting, I'm a rider. Whether in a hoodie or a linen, a provider. You should see the jury on my women, and I'm living it up. The squad stay filling the truck with chicks that's willing to trizz with us. You say you got a man and you're in love, but what's love gotta do with a little menage? After the party, me and you could just slide for a few, and she could come too. That's love.
Got to do with it, baby.
Have you ever loved someone so much you thought to die? Giving so much of yourself, it seems the only way. Have you
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, sirs. Thank you. We are back from our lunch, and we would be moving straight to the second presentation by our second speaker. And I'll be inviting Mr. Jacob to do the citation for our second speaker. Thank you, sir.
Welcome back. Please, the next topic that will be discussed right now will be handled by a man that has many feathers on his cap. He's an associate professor, presently with School of Management and Social Science at Pan-Atlantic University in Lagos, Business School, Lagos. He has a PhD, masters, name them, both in Nigeria and outside Nigeria. No, as it is said, they said, a tree is recognized by its fruits. So, what you hear today, in short, you'll be happy that you are here. Because this person is someone that is vast in both behavioral and business ethics. It's a guru. Yes, it's a guru. And let me just tell you, it's a first-class material right from day one. So you'll be very happy hearing from him. It's no other person than our beloved Professor Segun, Dr. Segun Vincent. So, please.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much, and I am happy to join you and happy to be here today to share my thoughts on the title given to me by my great colleague, Mr. Nwokoye Nnamdi. We are both in Pan-Atlantic University, and he asked if I could spare time to come, and of course it's my joy to join this gathering of erudite and noble business people and share my thoughts on decoupling the Nigeria economy. I like the title because it was carefully crafted. Before you can talk about business opportunities and the risk thereof, you have to decouple the economy. You have to actually extract the economy to see the what? To see the opportunity. If you don't actually dissect the global, domestic, you cannot see anything. It's just you're coming up with any idea is like a blind man drafting an idea. Indeed, whatever we do or whatever opportunity we see or what seems not to be working, they are really products of the global trend and Nigeria economic environment. So it's better we x-ray those areas carefully before we possibly talk about of course, the opportunities that could benefit us as individuals, our companies, and of course, other interest organizations. And my presentation will be in the following layers, like I told you, will decouple the global and domestic economies. We know what is going, try to look at what is going on around the world. We come back home. After that, then we can ask ourselves, what can we see to be the way forward in 2025 for those who want to take advantage of the business environment? So we'll be doing that, and as we go on, I'm discussing, this is a gathering of scholars too. Of course, I'm talking to the graduates of a reputable university in Nigeria, University of Nigeria, Nsukka. So you'll have your thoughts and we can rub minds. That is what is going to happen at the end of the day. We ask questions. As I move on, we can ask questions, we can deliberate. We'll be deliberating over some of these things, and at the end of the day, we can all see clearly what should be the way forward. So, before we come home, let us look at what the outlook might likely be in 2025. As you can see, the global GDP is the growth indicator of the world. Why we use GDP all over the world to actually signal growth is a collective, is an indicator used to measure productivity of the entire world or of the nation. If we are going to be productive in 2025, it means the entire world will deploy all the factors of production. This signals the fact that if the figure is high, it signals that there will be big time employment. The business people will have money to do business. Those who have property will have people coming to buy. There will be a lot of buying and selling. There will be a lot of economic activities. That is what GDP signals. But if the GDP shows a reluctance or is ambitious, we will see. And that signals what may likely happen. Immediately, United Nations, IMF, is saying that there will be a lull, there will be low GDP, even without any action currently. You will see that everybody will be reluctant to do anything. And you too start thinking about your business that the growth will be stagnated. As you can see, the global GDP is sticky. It's very sticky. Sticky spots. The trend we see in 2025 is that the global growth is going, the increase in GDP, the GDP growth in 2025 will not be materially different from GDP growth in 2024 we are. And it means the entire economy will be on sit down, look, and try to see what may likely happen. It may not be unlikely, it may not be far away from development in major economies of the world. America, Europe, and China. You talk of America, Europe, Sub-Saharan Africa, maybe a little. We don't contribute that much to the world GDP in terms of productivity you bring to a basket. This is the global economy. This is what advanced economy is showing. Indeed, in the advanced economy, they are likely to witness a very stagnated growth. The global GDP is on the rise because of the emerging markets and developing economies. They are likely to grow. Currently, Nigeria recorded a growth in the third quarter of 3.48 increase. It's a good signal. It may, if it continues that way, it may signal certain improvement in other indicators. This GDP you see is very powerful. You may say it's nothing, but it signals what may really happen. And that is what many international businesses, they follow. Immediately they see the figure, they know what to do. People do say GDP doesn't mean anything. It means a lot. If your GDP is rising, it signals to the international world that let's pay attention. Maybe something is happening in that place. I normally tell my colleagues, foreign direct investment has nothing to do with even Mr. President jumping up and down. It's on auto cruise. Do you know why it's on auto cruise? They have exact templates. All these things will be plugged in there directly, without anybody. There is AI, artificial intelligence, that will plug these figures into necessary positions. And it will show. It may show you red, it may show amber, it may show green. I may just open my system. Nigeria is showing green. What is happening there? You start asking. Should we move in? Should we do a little? That is what all these indicators, that's what they do. So, in investment world, is not the sentiment, there is sentiment. There is sentimental aspect of investment. There is equally major area, there are areas driven by fundamentals, the macroeconomic fundamentals. When they see them, they may say, okay, let's participate in this growth. Let's put in some money in that economy. Let's do something. So the growth projection, it means a lot. It means a lot. And you cannot, as a nation, say that growth we put out there, other international community, IMF, AFDB, World Bank, they will set up parameters to check too. Is it true that they are growing? There are things being considered, and they may confirm that, yeah, it is genuinely there are growth, and there are growth drivers, which they will check. Having said that, what we can deduce from this is that we may not, as a global world, we may not materially better off than what we have in 2024. In fact, there might be reluctance due to some policies that will be pushed by new American president. We will see that as we move on. Now, this is what is going to shape the global world. Let me tell you why in decoupling the economy, why we look global. What happens global, because the world is a small village now, whatever happens globally will definitely come to Nigeria. Within few moments, we will see the impact. If there is problem in Europe and America, the companies there, decisions and what they believe they want to do in Africa, they will stop. Because charity begins at home. And that is why when any company has a problem at home, the first thing the company does is to sell off, to leave some of the subsidiaries and come and defend the home front with the fund or with the liquidity sometimes. So the fourth industrial revolution, of course, technology will continue to play a major role. And there will be inroad, there will be more technological breakthrough, and digital economy is becoming the order of the day. So those who have the money in the world, they are in digital space. Elon Musk, whoever you mention, 1, 2, 3, 4, they are into digital economy. So those are the guys that actually own everything. So the trend will continue There will be more breakthroughs. There will be more AI development that will take over a whole lot of things. The way we do things, I was reading the other time that all these telecommunication towers, they will become obsolete in 2 years' time. So in use of the phone, that we directly link up with all those towers, it will no longer be there. Your phone will be communicating with the satellite, with the space directly, and all those towers, whoever that has invested in them is huge loss. So technology is going to render some people poor, jobless, and you can see that with the technology, there is reordering in terms of those who have money. So some people no longer have anything. They don't have anything. Technology is everything. So equally, we have African Continental Free Trade Area, which Nigeria too has signed on to. 54 African countries signed to regional trade. It's regional. What we sign on to is free exit, free entry of people and goods within African country. It's going to serve as advantage and disadvantage. If you have allowed that and you have 54 African countries, then you ask yourself as Nigeria, are we producing? What are our exports? What can we push to those countries? Or will some of those countries bombard us with what they have produced? Because it will become a more market. And equally, the Nigerians industrialists, are you ready for this? Will you be protected? Because we are going to liberalism. Protectionism is about fading off. Will your product, will your trade be protected? If you say within Africa is one market, I can walk into Ghana, Ghanaian businessman can walk in here, we can walk within 54 African countries. Now, many people still think it may not happen, but it's still an ambitious project. But let us have it in mind. It's going to take shape. How are you ready to take advantage of African Continental Free Trade Area agreement? Because it's going to happen. It's a product of OAU, Organization of African Unity. Yeah. Now, African Union. It's not African Union. It's not OAU. I'm sorry. It's a product of African Union. We are now into the era of blue and green economy. Sustainable economy, both blue and green economy. We are now into that era. Everywhere in the world is about sustainability. It's no longer a brown field. We are going to blue and green economy. Economy that consider the nature, that consider the environment, and most things you do now. Even so many businessmen now, if you do business with certain companies, they will ask you about what you do in the area of sustainability before they can take your product, before they can trade with you. So that is equally a knowledge economy. Economy is becoming quite a vast knowledge economy. You can't sit down and do what you just like to do. You too must be a researcher on your own. Your organization must be research-based. Otherwise, the company is going to, you are close to death as a company if you don't invest in knowledge, because it's a knowledge-based economy in which we are now to really be able to compete. So there is demographic shift too all over the world. The population. I read it that in terms of population, there is stagnation in East Asia. The countries that dominate East Asia, they are Japan, China. There's stagnation there. They are not growing in terms of population. The entire world population, the growth is expected from Africa. The growth is expected from Africa and South Asia for the entire world population growth. Currently, the entire world is at 8 billion. By 2025, we will be 8.1 billion. And the growth will be driven by Africa and South Asia. Which countries are in South Asia? Bangladesh, Nepal, India, Indonesia. Those are the guys that will drive the population of the world and Africa. Or in other countries, they are not likely because rather they have more of aging population. They don't give birth. So the aging population will continue in the Europe. It will continue. America will only benefit from migration, which the new president is about to stop. So they will have to contend with so many things because the young population, they are foreigners, they are immigrants who constitute the young population in those areas. Equally, in terms of urbanization, it has been projected that rural-urban drift will continue, and urban areas will witness a lot of movement. They will witness a lot of insufficient infrastructure. When we come back home to places, big cities, Lagos, all of them, they will witness rural-urban drift. And as people are coming in, the infrastructure will be wear down, and so many attendant issues around security will equally follow. So that will continue, and except we do something about that. Lagos State sometimes quoted that about 200,000 people come to Lagos every day, and less than 50,000 return. So, you can see it. You can see it in the property market. You can see it even in Lagos State taxation. Lagos State is making all the money for the entire country because of migration. They are making the entire money. Even when the economy is slowing down, they are recording a lot of collections around taxation. So, urbanization, fertility rate in the entire world is measured by the lifespan of a woman and the average number of children a woman will have. The fertility rate in Africa is greater than 3. And the world benchmark should be 1.5. Countries like I said, countries like East Asia, Europe, America, their per woman is like fertility rate is less than 1.5. But in Africa is greater than 3. So it means that we will continue to be very fertile in Africa, in South Asia, and we will keep increasing the population across the world. Other events that will drive the economy in the world is what we call Trumponomics and U.S. foreign policy. U.S. foreign policy in terms of trade, as Mr. Trump has said, there will be a lot of trade tension between America and China. There's no doubt about that. He's out for that. He's going to increase tariff. He's going to check Mexico. He's going to check Canada. He's all out for trade war because in his zone is American first. That is the doctrine upon which Trump is going to work on. American first in all the deals. And he doesn't care. As a result, he's going to drag a lot of competition with China that he wants to reverse that dominance of China. Is all out for that. He has said it. So he's going into trade war with China. He's going to high tariff regime in such a way that it will be difficult for any American to bring in any goods from those countries. And our own Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala is going to have a lot of stress managing the World Trade Organization, who's supposed to regulate tariff, who's supposed to mediate around all these things. She will have a lot of days with Mr. Trump. And you can know, as you know, Mr. Trump, he does not favor Nigeria in any of those foreign appointments. Well, Ngozi in World Trade Organization, or even our own additional in African Development Bank. During his tenure, he tried to put a lot of allegation around the guy, in which other countries shut down that they are not going to go with you. So he doesn't believe in Africa anyway. And he will tell you, if you think you have skill, go and use it in your country. We don't care about you. And that is what is going to drive his immigration policy too. He doesn't care. If you say, yeah, if Nigerians are fantastic doctors, yeah, they should go back to their country. We don't need them. That is his own belief. And there will be the issue around climate change. According to Trump, Trump does not believe in climate change. He's going to increase production of crude. He does not believe in green economy. He's going to drag America to go full blast into production irrespective of carbon emission. So, and in terms of defense, he may not likely spend so much on defense. He talks about defense, but from his body language, he wants to use some level of arbitration and mediation to talk rather than probably funding a country like Ukraine with several billions of dollars. Funding Ukraine to be fighting Russia. He's not going to subject Americans to that. He wants to conserve the money, American dollars. So in his own defense, he's sitting on the fence. And in terms of Israel and Hamas war, he has taken side, even during his first tenure, with Israel. Whichever level Israel wants to go, he goes with Israel. And that's why he's one of those that established embassy in Jerusalem and say is for the Israelites. So Ukraine-Russia war is not clear the role Trump is going to play. Why am I throwing up all this? We all know all these things will shape what will happen in 2025. You all know that the war in Ukraine, how it affected us so much in the area of crop production, in the area of crops, in the area of food items, grain, wheat, corn, aluminum. So all those things, if the war in Ukraine and Russia should take another dimension, we are directly affected. There's no doubt about it. So don't say you are less concerned about global trend. It will affect you, it will affect your businesses. Now, at the regional and global growth, like I showed earlier, it's going to be 3.2. It's not too decent a growth, and it will likely be driven by emerging market and an African country. So sub-Sahara is going to be like 3.2. The global inflation in Europe will be 2.3. And I'm showing this figure to equally juxtapose with our level of inflation, which is around, our level of inflation is around 34. It is around 38.75, thereabout. You are approximating it to 40 straight away. So I'm showing this to know that it's an aberration where we are. Europe is having inflation despite their problem at 2.3. USA is having inflation around 2.6. China has the lowest inflation in the world, around 0.29%. India has 4. I'm mentioning the major economies of the world. And look at their global interest rate. Europe is 3.65 interest rate. So if anybody is paying down on loan in those places, you can see the interest rate they are paying down. In the US, it's 4.58. When people say they are paying down on their mortgages and the interest has gone up, it's because it has gone up to 4. It used to be around 2-3%. China 2.9, India between 7.25 to 14. Because in India, the way they do for the very old people and old businesses, they have rates. There is a way, but it ranges between that. And what I want you to take away from here, which we are still coming back, you can see that interest rate is perpetually ahead of inflation rate. But in Nigeria, inflation rate is higher than what? Interest rate. Hence, the reason for them to continue to push, let me call it, drop it here. The moment you are in any economy, and why foreign investor may not come in, the moment you are in any economy where the interest is not higher than the inflation rate, you are devalued. You are naturally devalued. So, why are you going there? Because you are already in a negative region. You don't take your money there. So, it's not a surprise that you don't see good trading partners, because the moment you bring in money, you change your money to Naira, you are gone. But you are not a gunner. You are not a national fan, you know. You are gone, sir. Yeah. So now, we've said it, these are all activities that will drive the global economy. Now, we have seen the global economy, we've seen the outlook. We've seen the outlook is meant for us to actually think about them. If the war in that place should go up again, what will likely happen? If Trump should implement most of his policies, what will happen? Because I know some parents that they are paying exorbitant school fees, they are trading their children for America and Europe. I have so many of my friends that you are paying so much in area on school fees abroad because you are training your children for foreign countries to still go and earn their currencies. But with what Trump is about to start, other economy will join in terms of migration. They will join. It's going to have a bandwagon effect. We don't want you. Go and develop your country. And you will see all of them trying to tighten. I heard that Canada too is trying to say, after your study, you go back. And many parents, they have invested in sending their children to Canada so that they will have papers after their study. But Canada is trying to review that. Why? Because Trump has said, no more you give birth in America, you have American citizen. It's not going to happen again. You go back home. They are going to behave like Britain, what Britain did some years back. You give birth here, you is still a Nigerian. You take your child back to your country. Although we'll give you birth certificate. So the place of birth, USA, but your citizenship, Nigeria. So these are things we should plan for from 2025, and we look at our position. A friend was trying to say, okay, by September next year, my son will be going to US. I said, okay, bring your son to Pan Atlantic University, because this whole sum you are going to spend, this guy will not be giving paper. Things will change. So think about it. Well, we give your son the best education in PAU at a little cost. So to say he will go to Canada and he will get paper is about to change. Think about it. He said he didn't hear about that. I sent some papers to him. Because it's an investment. It's an investment. Will it yield? Will it lead to citizenship? Think about it. Now, let's look at domestic economy. At the domestic level, let's quickly have a look at this. Our inflation is at Q2, at Q3, 33.88. It has increased from what we had in Q2 this year. This is everything about this year. Exchange rate officially is 1680. It has increased from what we had in Q3 because we now have retail DAS auction system. So our debt to GDP ratio is at Q3 is at 38.6. That is our debt to GDP ratio. And for an according to IMF, we are already above 35, which which a country like ours should not be looking at. But our government will look for a favorable threshold that favors them. They may quote some other statistics that we are below 50, because other statistics says you can still do debt that is 50% of GDP. It's only the advanced economy that can do as much as 70% of their GDP because they have the capacity. Our growth rate increased a bit from what we had as at end of June at 3.9 to what we have at 3.46 at the end of September. That is the third quarter. People will say it doesn't mean anything, but to some of us it means. Okay, it's not my phone. To some of us, it means a lot. It means a lot because if that trajectory should continue, some other macroeconomic indicators may equally stabilize. Although, since we started new measure of unemployment, before we used to have unemployment rate in region of 30-something%, but there's a new formula we use to calculate unemployment all over by labor organization all over the world. So our unemployment rate is 4.3%. But people will still say no, because the new way unemployment is calculated is not the way we look at it. It's a separate thing when you talk of underemployment. To say unemployment, it means somebody is not doing anything at all. So the way it's calculated now, if you are doing something, you are employed. But you might be grossly what? Underemployed. Or you might not be doing what you want to do. But as far as computation of unemployment rate is concerned, you are doing something, you are employed. Like this man now. This man doing this, he may say this is just job, this is not the job he intends to do, he's just doing this. By labor indicator now, he's employed. He's doing something and he's earning a living. That is why employment rate is trending down significantly from what we used to have in those days. Now, I will explain this graph. I will be going to this session, and I know I've been with some audience that do not like graph, but I will make it very simple in such a way that you will understand. Let me even see if we can see clearly from the back. Sir? It's difficult. Eh? Yeah. Okay. Look at what we have here. Real growth. You see, your growth, your GDP growth, normally should be, the minimum threshold should be ×2. Your population growth, your GDP growth should be ×2 your population growth. If you don't have that, you are not developing, your population is not sustainable. Yeah, our population growth is at almost, is at 2.6. Our population growth is at, I think, sorry. Okay, it's because normally the exact figure should come out the way I program it. Okay, it's around 2.6. And while our GDP growth is currently at 3.4, or let's say 3.5. Normally, if you have a population growth at 2.6, minimum, your GDP growth should be at 5.2. So it's not an ideal growth. Our growth is not proper. Equally, our population is equally showing that we are overpopulated. It's not sustainable. It's not at a sustainable level. And you should know what that means in terms of infrastructure. You should know what that means in terms of security. Eh? In terms of employment. So we are the GDP, it means our GDP is productivity of a nation. It means our total productivity is too small for the kind of population we have. That is why we equally have that rate of unemployment. That is why we have that level of insecurity. Because people are not simply productive. So that is what this particular one is showing. This line is a population line. While all these rectangles, they are GDP growth. And perpetually, we are having a stable population growth that is, our GDP growth has never turned twice it. So there is a problem. Now, when we come here, look at this blue is non-oil. Non-oil